Just going to make part one of my video. Obviously, selling all my vinyl, part one, which will be happening. In part one now, I'm just going to discuss the different options that I've got for selling my vinyl that are open to me. You've got like the first option, which would be selling it to a local record shop. I wouldn't advise that. I've sold a few tunes to a few shops, and what I've noticed is they'll start off them high street record shops. They've got a lot of overheads. And what I've found is they'll offer you decent money the first few times you go in there, and then they lowball you. Lowballing, for anybody out there, is basically trying to rip you off. So you might go in there with a really good album, and you go, right, I'll give you 15 quid for that. And that might be all right. And you might do that 2 or 3 times. But then you'll go in there and it'll be a completely different number. And I found that out. Option 2 is you can use Facebook. You can use discography, which is the one that you're going to make the most money on. But the discography site is also the one that's going to take the longest to bring you in your money. But if you want to maximize your money, you've got to sell things individually. But obviously with my two-tone collection, it's just too much for me to fucking do separately. So I've been speaking to a couple of companies, and this is another option. I don't know what it's like though. I'm going to have a couple come out and give me some numbers, and we'll think what's what. But what I'm going to be doing tonight in part 2, we're going to be just putting all the records together, all the two-tone, all the reggae, all in one bundle, see what we got there, which is quite a bit. And there's a couple of companies that I'm in communications with that'll actually come out to your house, look at it and give you a number. So I might get 2 of them to come out, give me a number. I understand that they all want to make money. That's fair enough. But I'm not prepared to be ripped right off. I know what I've got. Obviously, I know the two-tone market better than them. They probably just buy up collections. But I'm not prepared to be mugged right off, really. But I don't know that they're going to mug me off. Do you know what I mean? They might turn up and give me a real good number. But that's where we are at the minute. To be honest, now I'm looking at selling them all. It's quite a burden on you, actually. When you've got the amount that I got, it is quite a burden. But I found a couple of companies that want quite a bit of different styles of music, from reggae to ska to disco to all sorts. So I'm going to go down that option, I think. In fact, that's why we're going to add all the records up tonight and see exactly how many albums how many specials we got, how many Madness, and all of that. So I know what I've got. Because one company's saying, well, what have you got there? How many albums? How many singles? Do you know what I mean? It's going to take me a while to work all that out, but I think the time's come, really. And what am I going to invest my money in? A big drone. So I'm just about to do another drone test. And basically, my next test would be as high as I can go. But to work in agriculture and on a farm with a drone, I need what's called a T50, which is the smallest one I can find, which is a few £1,000. Obviously, I want to turn up to farms with my drone, offering my spray services, all the different farms. And obviously, if you've got a drone and you're ready to go, the farmer's going to go for that, because a lot of the farms haven't got drones yet, but they're all interested in it because they're going to save loads of money. But yeah, I'm looking at a T50 drone, which is massive drones. I'm talking, how big is it? Trying to think of something that's the equivalent size, but it's as big as a wheelbarrow. You know what I mean? Powerful things that just spray out. A lot of spraying's done at night, and obviously these spray drones have got built-in everything, night vision, everything you need. But it's a specialist drone. Obviously, I'm going from being a hobbyist, flying around, to doing it professionally. And the amount of money that I can earn by doing that is just huge. But the only way that I can get my hands on one of them drones is to sell me record collection, because I ain't got thousands of pounds, but I'm not a rich man. Far from it. But if I can get enough money together and get one of them drones, that's what the plan is. But other options you've got for selling, obviously you've got Facebook Marketplace, which I bought a couple of things from there. I've got the two-tone groups that I'm in. But to be honest, some people might want to pick and go, I'll have that, I'll have this, I don't want that, I don't want this. I want a company that's going to have the lot. But before I do that, I've got to get a couple of them to come out here like I'm arranging, so they just give me a price so I can see whether these people are robbing people or not. I think that's the plan. How much is it all worth? I've never sat down there and added it all up. I've got a rough idea. And it's into the thousands, to be honest. I've been collecting. When I started buying records, or posted my first one, was Madness in 1981. I was 10. I got that from Woolworths. That was the first record I bought. But I weren't buying records thinking I'm a record collector. I was just buying music because that's how it came out. And obviously I've been doing that all my life, to the point where we're at now. But to be honest, it is a bit of a burden. And to be honest, we all could be gone tomorrow, do you know what I mean? And there's a few records that I've got to make, like my mum's record, my mum's records that she made in the 50s. I've got to make sure that they go to the right place, which will be the British Rock and Roll Museum. That way I know they're all going, you know what I mean, they're all going to go to the right sort of home. I think that one of my mum's albums is actually probably the most expensive record I might have. But who knows? But that's where we are at the minute. We've just started looking about to see what's what. There's plenty of companies that want to snap up your whole collection, but I want someone to take the lot, the singles, everything. But they reckon they can come out, look at your collection, pay you there and then, and take your collection away with them. But do they even know what they're looking at? Do you know what I mean? I know what I'm looking at when it comes to the two-tone and UB40. I know exactly where I'm at with that. My mum's music, but obviously there's other stuff which I'm not too sure on. But I've got a lot of rave records. I've got 300 records over there all packed up, which is like house, garage. I don't believe I'm going to have a problem selling them. I think that'll go quite well. But I might take them to London, because I know for a fact in London I can get good money inside the record shop. But yeah, that's where we are at the minute. But anyway, I'm going to go, but I'll be back tonight with part 2, where we're going to just put all the records together, just see what we're looking at. how many albums are there? Madness, The Beat, Special, Selector. Over 50 or 60, I'm sure of that. That's albums. I've got some real rare Beat 12 inches. I've got some Beat albums signed by Rankin Roger, which have got to be worth more than an unsigned copy. Exactly how much they're worth, I don't know exactly. I've got a rough idea. But that's where we are at the minute. Anyway, I'll be back tonight with we'll look at what we got and put it all together. Whatever you're doing, have a good afternoon.